here, we're live there. Boom. Countdown. One minute. We're at 40 seconds. $30. Get yourself into your tight one.
Make sure you flip over to the chat here.
Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, party people? I'm Chris, and this is Geared Up. This is our weekly live broadcast where we talk about lighting, techniques, gear, how to do things, technical stuff. Whatever it is you want to talk about, we take your questions, we talk about it live, always with some subject in mind. Today, we're talking about how do you choose the right strip box. So there's a couple of things that you want to keep in mind when you're thinking about strip boxes. I think strip boxes, by and far, are vastly underutilized. I don't think people really think about them when they think of a lighting modifier to add to their arsenal, but they're really, really handy light shaping tools. The cool things about them, I have a 6 foot right next to me. I'm going to pull up the 4 foot because that's a little more manageable by hand. But so the cool thing about a strip box is you have really soft light one direction and a little bit harder light another direction, right? So you're getting this really cool elongated softbox that's going to allow you to create some really beautiful highlights on products, on people, just really give you the ability to control and shape this long edge of light. It has some other cool things that we'll talk about here too in a second, but that's one of the things that makes strip boxes really cool. Now, when it comes to deciding what kind of strip box you need to use, there's a couple of things you have to keep in mind. So you want to talk about, or you want to talk to yourself about what are the kind of things that you like to photograph and how much space are you working with, right? So if you find yourself shooting a lot more full body portraits, I would say, you know, at minimum, going to something like a 1x4. Now, the idea behind using a softbox is softboxes are meant to be used really, really close. So you want to try to get a softbox that you can keep as close to your subject as possible while staying inside the frame. So generally, when you're shooting full body stuff of a person, 1x4 is the minimum I would say go. But ideally, you would use something like a 1x6. So right here, this softbox right here is irrefutable proof that I am 6 feet tall.
Hold
on. You can't refute it, especially you, John David Pittman, that I am indeed 6 feet tall. But no. But ideally, you would use a softbox the size, or a strip box the size, closer to the size of the person that you're shooting. Again, the point of it is to use it in as close as possible on the subject while keeping it at a frame, and this is going to do a better job of getting the highlight top to bottom. Now, you can get that from the 1x4, but what you're going to have to do to achieve that is you're going to have to actually back the 1x4 up a little bit. Not as big of a deal, but you do have to remember that you're going to lose some of the softness that comes from the modifier, because we all know the rule is the larger the modifier is in relationship, that's the biggest part of that conversation, in relationship to your subject is going to dictate how soft the modifier is. So the more you have to back it up, the more it's going to take it a while for the light to become harsh, but it does technically start becoming a little harsher, a little bit harder. So very, very cool. Some other cool things about strip boxes over soft boxes, which are kind of nice. So as you can see here set up, we have this large vase. We wanted to use something.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're going. No.
That was
the other
bad call.
The other wide shot. The other wide shot. She's rusty, guys. She's been off operating for a month. So we wanted, even though this vase isn't totally shiny, it's got some dusting to make it look a little more diffused out.
But she's cute. Come on,
I totally lost my train of thought of what it. So here we go.
You're trying to talk about it being shiny.
Yeah.
And
So
the impact on the shine.
Yeah. So we're gonna be shooting this vase today. It's not super shiny, but it'll get the point across. But what I was talking about with the strip box is what's cool over like a larger, like a say we have a 1x4 here over like a 3x4, or this is a 1x3, so over a 2x3, is that they're pretty shallow, or they are shallow in this direction. So again, they're only 1 foot wide. What that's going to allow you to do is take a strip box and push it in a lot closer to your subject. So again, to maximize the softness and the length direction of the strip box, you want to get it as close as possible. So because there's not a whole lot of extra softbox coming this way or going backwards, you're not fighting the softbox trying to keep it out of your frame while you're taking an image. So that's one of the big advantages of going with a strip box over using a softbox for your for making highlights along either a person or a product. So yeah, that's where I was going with.
Can I go grab a Coke bottle?
You can go grab it. Kate's gonna grab a Coke bottle. So the other thing,
it's a little shinier.
And just like I was saying earlier, one of the things that you want to make sure you're keeping in mind is the size of your product or person to your strip box. So if you look right here, we have this 1x3. You can tell it clearly isn't large enough to cover the whole thing. Now I could back this up and start getting a little more coverage. It's not necessarily going to look the way we want. So what we're going to do is for the first shot before we bring in any type of a Coke bottle, just so you can see what I'm talking about when it comes to size. So just hang on to that. Just hang on to that over there for a second. So just so you can kind of see what we're talking about in reference to size, what you're going to find with a smaller softbox as opposed to a larger strip box that gives even coverage across the subject, you're going to start having line cutoffs of the light. So like right here, especially because softboxes, we have a recessed front, it's going to have more of a sharp defined cutoff. You're going to start to see how the edge doesn't quite light up as evenly as here. Even though, again, this vase is a little more diffused than I would like it to be for what we're demonstrating. It's just what we have. Yeah, we'll talk about the Coke bottle in a second. I just want to make sure people can see what I'm talking about when it comes to this vase. Actually, I've already taken a photo. You can probably see it there, but because we're live and we're doing it live.
Yeah, we gotta do it again.
Yeah, we gotta do it again.
That's right.
So
also, if you guys have questions, pop them in.
Yeah, if you have any questions, ask. That's what we're here for. Okay. So just want to get that steadied up. And looking at my frame, I can see my softbox in the shot a little bit. So what we're going to do is kind of tilt it up a skosh. I'm going to actually there we go. Shift to a different camera because it's not helpful. And then we're going to kind of pull this out a little. I know that the side shot's probably a little more blocked by these softboxes. Yeah, but let's try to keep all this out of the frame. Cool. That's better. I mean, your camera's in the way. Oh, I'm sure my camera's right in the way, but I just got to make sure. I have a large head. I apologize for that. All right, cool. I think I still have a little bit of softbox in the shot, but here we go. 3, 2, 1. I'm counting down a vase like it actually cares. So if you look at the shot, I don't want to be too far out of the frame, but I also don't want to pull my laptop in just yet. But if you look at the shot, you can see here that that 1x4 is giving nice complete coverage. It hit this little diffuse spot right here. That's why it kind of feels like it trailed out. And honestly, probably what I'll do is I'll take one more shot. I'm going to pull the strip boxes backwards a little bit because I don't like this little shadow here to the front. There we go. Yeah, and then so, but you can see here with the 1x3, you can see that it started falling off. So we started losing some of that extra highlight, and you can also see that whereas with the 1x4, at least here it feels elongated, you can see how it chopped off right there. So let's just do this. Let's take the soft boxes back, the strip boxes back a little bit. So we're gonna light it from behind, which is more ideal with what you want to do. That way you don't, as the cylinder starts to go around, it doesn't feel like it's wrapped. I just gotta make sure it's out of the frame. I put that 1x4 right in the frame. That was awesome. Like it's full on, can see everything.
Do you want it as close as possible?
You want it as close as possible, but you don't want it in the frame. So cool. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. So there we go.
Oh, interesting. That's beautiful.
So again, it kind of cut out. It's a larger modifier, so it's going to wrap a little bit. We can play with that some more too. But again, this really elongated highlight, whereas up here, it's kind of fighting a little bit more. It's definitely brighter down here and tapers a whole lot more there. So again, it's not the ideal. Oh, I'm standing in front of my camera. Super meta. So it's not the most ideal. It's not the most ideal vase to be doing this with, but you can still kind of get the idea behind what we're talking about. So it's really cool. I'm going to take this down now before I inevitably bump into something, and my wife cuts me with one of the shards in retaliation. Cool. So we can do the same thing.
For any friends that are just joining us, what are you doing right now?
So cool. Let's see. We've got this set up. We can throw the Coke bottle up there for a second, but what we're going to do here in just a moment is we're going to do the same thing with the 1x3s. And then also show you the difference with like a 1x6. So once you start to go to something smaller like this, like a Coke bottle, it's really easy to have a modifier like a 1x3 give you the coverage that you want for something like this. So these will inevitably, and also the nice thing too is once you fill the frame with the subject, you have so much more working distance to get your soft boxes in closer. So let's go down here a little bit. So again, the rules are, for the most part, for anyone who may just be kind of tuning in when it comes to figuring out the right strip box, you just want to be thinking about the size of the stuff that you like to photograph, and you want to be thinking about how much room you have. A 1x6 takes up a ton of room. This is not a macro lens, so I can't imagine this thing's gonna be terribly happy about me being this close. Yeah, there we go. So let's just say we're living here. So the nice thing again is because our working distances are much smaller, we can push in and we can maximize the size of the softbox. Granted, the 1x3 and 1x4 aren't going to really matter here because they're so much larger.
Can I throw a question at you real quick?
Sure.
Okay, so Jim from Texas, thoughts on masking an octa, square, or rectangle to mimic a strip box?
So someone was asking, what are the thoughts on using a mask as opposed to having a strip box? 100%. All you're trying to do is elongate the light in one direction and shorten it the other direction. That's the beauty of a strip box. The nice thing about strip boxes over masking larger things, like I was saying earlier, is working distances. Like here, I guess what you could do in theory is say if this was a 2x3, so you're out here, is you could mask off everything but this very edge, and that way you're working with minimal distances here as opposed to masking it dead center. I feel like if you buy, like, you probably have to make this mask yourself, because the mask that we have for like our RFI 2x3s is a dead center mask. So you're not gonna have the flexibility of using less of the modifier. Like, it would be dead center, so kind of getting it where you want might be a little bit tougher. But yes, you could absolutely mask current modifiers. I think it's a really good move. And the nice thing about masking is if you're making it yourself, you can decide how much light you want in on the short side. So Cool. Oh, yeah, just click the space bar. Or is it acting weird? Oh, there it goes.
Sleeping.
So, but with the Coke bottle again, you can see, you want to pop that up for them really fast before we actually bring you into the frame and take a picture. Hey, we're geared up.
Oh my goodness.
So as you can see with this, because the modifier is so large in relationship to that actual bottle itself, you're getting this beautiful, nice highlight along the rim, really, really showcasing the shape of the bottle, which is really, really nice. And then because you're in so tight, your working distances can be really, really close, and you can maximize the softness of the modifier. That's why we were trying to use that big, huge vase to also show you need to pay attention to how big your modifier is. So now I'm going to take this 1x3 off and throw a 1x4 on, and we're going to bring Kate in. And I also have a couple of like fun things I want to talk about when it comes to strip boxes, some fun things you can do with them. But right now we're just talking about why you choose the size that you choose. So let's go 1x4, and then we'll do a comparison with the 1x6s on a human being.
Right, if you have questions,
Yep.
pop them in. I see a couple of questions that are in Swedish, and unfortunately, I don't think we have our Swedish friends
Translating for us.
translating in the chat.
Yeah, throw that thing into Google Translate, and then say it to me in English, because I would do it, but I'm incapacitated by a demonstration right now. Let's see, lock that into place. Cool. So we have a couple 1x4s. These are the OCF 1x4s. Ooh, I forgot to. I'm having some funky issues with my my background, where like it's super. I don't know if it tightened up while we were gone for so long. It could be humidity, but I can't use the chain to lower it and raise it. So I had to do it manually. And I still have this little bubble right here. Get out of there. Okay, cool. So let's get this 1x4 here. Generally, when you're using these as a rim light, which they're really, really good for, or a kicker, I'm just gonna kind of kick this out of the way. I'm sorry, it'll kind of be in your
you're fine.
Your area. The nice thing about using these as a rim or a kicker is they do a really good job of highlighting person. You generally want the light, like you can see right now, to come from back forward. You don't want it necessarily to be to the side. So let's see what we look like coverage with Kate with the 1x4s. I might have to change lenses, but let's see. Let's back up my camera. Cool. You mind standing in there for me real fast, Kate? I might be able to kind of, and see, guys, I told you I was gonna break the vase.
Woo!
Told you it was gonna happen. All right.
Do I need to put her in the frame with me?
You probably need to like
harder?
prop up on it.
Yeah.
This is me and my vase.
Check out my balls.
Okay, I may have to do exactly what I thought. No, I've actually got you all the way in the frame. So just pull focus real quick.
And hold on, no one can see this.
That's fine.
I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, I didn't. Let's do this really fast. We're gonna. Whatever. I'll just keep it live. We'll make it happen. So hop up in there, Kate. Let's get this moving.
Great.
She side shotted you. I can't help her, guys. So yeah, stay about right there.
Switching things up on me.
Just stay about right there, and then I'm just working with what I'm working with. Here we go. Okay. Do I have you all in the frame? I'm like hugging the back cameras over here. I'm not sure if you guys can actually see what's happening, but.
Because I have it on the side cam.
Oh, nice. Look at you. Look at you. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. So coverage wise, it does a pretty good job. Let's see. That's the 1x4s. You can see that there is highlights here along the pant leg down to the shoe. It's doing a pretty good job of making a rim light. Okay, so, but ideally, we would have a little more even coverage top to bottom. So What you could do with the 1x4s, again, is you could back them up a little bit more. I don't have the space in here to do that. So if I back these up some more, I would have to put that one outside and that one where my gearbox is. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch this out to 1x6s. And we're going to compare that. Cool. Take that bad boy. I have this 1x6 already on a light and I don't really need it. There we go. So cool.
If I'm not on time, is it possible to rewatch an episode? Of course.
Yes. So what'll happen if you're watching this on any of the social media things, the replay will start. Actually, I think the replay will be immediate on all of them. If you're watching this on ProPhoto.com and everything, it'll be.
I don't know. I think it takes like 5 minutes for it to like populate.
Yeah. But then you'll be ready to rock and roll. I'm using a light stand that doesn't let me get this as low as I would like.
While you're doing that, Silver Peak is saying, are there strip box modifiers suitable for travel, collapsible, and with a shallower depth or for tighter spaces when shooting? I'll pop that up.
So someone's asking, is there like a more, essentially, is there a more compact strip box? The tough thing is in order to get the shape, let me turn this off. I'm going to change light stands because I want to be able to get this lower if I can. The tough thing is they have to be able to make the strip shape. And a lot of the times it causes the rods themselves to have to push out a little bit further. The OCF ones are a little more compact, like the 1x4s. But still, in order to kind of keep the tension on stuff, they kind of have to jut forward. So they kind of are the size they are. That's not, maybe someone can figure out that issue in engineering one day. Now, the upside for all of them is they all break down and they travel pretty easy. I take the 1x4s with me a lot of places, especially the OCF ones. They break down really, really easy. They travel really, really easy. So maybe that's something you want to look into if you're thinking about getting some strips. But yeah, as far as like footprint, I believe that the OCF ones are going to be a little bit less than like the RFI 1x4s, but they still take up some room. They just do. I'm gonna take this B10 off.
What camera are you using?
Oh, someone's asking what camera I'm using. I'm using a GFX 100S because I don't like having any hard drive space. I prefer all of my files to be so large that I have to buy 90 hard drives. No, I use the GFX 100S. I've been a Fuji user for many a year now, and then I went from my XT3. My natural progression was to the next biggest sensor size they make, which is medium format. So, but it's a beautiful camera.
Silver Peak is asking, do you ever collapse yours and take them with you for travel?
Always.
Yeah.
I leave when I'm at home. I pretty much collapse all of them anyway. Like, I just don't have the space to keep them all popped up. That's better than what the other one was. I don't have the space to keep them all popped up. So I generally always collapse them down. I have the 1x4s. I have this one little spot. We have a full bathroom like here, or like it has like a shower here in the studio. And no one uses it. That means people generally just use the restroom whenever we're shooting. So I'll take the 1x4s and I'll put them across the shower if I can. But other than that, like the 1x6s are way too big. They would never do that. So they always get broken down.
That's nice to hear.
Yep.
Okay, what does...
Now you know the setup of my studio. I've got a bathroom in it.
Okay, what does it mean, RFI?
Recessed front improved.
Cool.
RFI stands for recessed front improved. Before RFI, before we improved it, we had RF. And that stood for recessed front. So yeah, a lot of softbox companies... Yeah, it was just some better materials. We like to recess the front of all of our soft boxes, strip boxes, octa boxes. It gives you more edge control. You can buy front diffusion panels for the RFI line. The OCFs don't have it, but you can buy a front diffuser that makes it diffusion from edge to edge. And what that's going to do is throw the light wider. So the recessed front gives you some more control on the sides. All right, cool. Let's get you in there, Kate.
Okay.
So now we have 1x6s. And so let's see how much the 1x6 changes the coverage. So come forward a little bit. No, you were standing straight on, so go straight on. There we go. Yeah. Let's go apples to apples.
I don't remember what hip was hipping. I don't know. It's always confusing.
It looks like you were right hipping.
Okay.
Cool. So we go 3, 2, 1. Bop. So come on. So let's go here and here. All right. We have to take some pictures. Let's compare them. Oh, and then let's drop the tether table. I'm telling you guys, I'm going to break something today. I think that's
Not my boss.
I think it's my goal.
Not my boss.
I think it's my goal to break something.
Break your noggin.
So 1x6 wise, like looking here, top to bottom, granted, it could be that Kate's wearing black leggings and they're a matte legging, so it's not as
No, they have a sheen.
they're like a
Sheenish.
they're like
Oh, well, they can't see. Sorry.
they're like semi-gloss.
Okay.
They're not that shiny, but they're not matte.
Okay.
But coverage wise, I'm trying to let me brighten up the screen here. These video lights are overdoing it. So coverage wise, top to bottom, I think really where you're going to start to see the difference here between the 1x6 and the 1x4, 1x4 here on the left, 1x6 here on the right, is if you look down here how the light is covered on the shoes, you can see there's much more even light making its way down to the shoe. Whereas if you're looking here at the 1x4s, you can actually see the reflection of, and it kind of makes a square because at the angle that the shoe's at, it kind of makes the strip box smaller. So you're getting more like kind of small highlights as if this was a harder light. Whereas with the 1.6, it's not, I mean, there's kind of a little cubey spot here, but if you look down here along the side of the shoe, it's a little bit longer of a light. So you're getting some more highlight coverage. You're not getting so much specularity like you were down here with the 1x4. I think because Kate's pants are a little more diffused, I can actually, now that I'm looking a little bit deeper, it's harder to see with the black, but let's see if we can zoom in here for you to see. So let's go down here on the side of the calf. So you can actually kind of see that highlight difference. So because there's more softbox down here, look here. So there's a little bit of light hitting right here along the leg, but the 1x6, you're getting a larger light source and you're getting more of a highlight information here. It's a little bit wider, a little more coverage, which is nice. Now, softness wise on both of them, they're pretty much the same. Like if we look here at the ribbing, the shadows that are created, they look pretty similar. So as far as that stuff goes, I don't necessarily think that makes a big difference, but we are definitely getting some more highlights here on the side. This leg seems pretty similar to the 1x4 and the 1x6. So those are pretty close. But on the other side, we're definitely getting more lighting here along that calf than we did here. Some of that could be body positioning. It's not a perfect science, but top to bottom, you're going to get a better coverage with a 1x6. Now, you have to ask yourself, as we're signing off of this thing, do you have room for a 1x6? If you don't, then go with a smaller softbox. Now that we're talking about this is the bonus time. Now that we're talking about how much space you have to work with, there's something that a colleague of mine, his name is Anders Hungla, was telling me about, and I want to try it here live on this. We can discover it together. But one of the cool things, if you have a studio and you don't have the most ceiling space, our last place that we did lives at our last place, the ceilings were much shorter.
It was this.
So we're always fighting, could you stand up and shoot the way that you wanted to? A lot of the times we had to sit down for our stuff. Here we're fortunate enough to have some higher ceilings, but Anders was saying, if you put this overhead, this makes a really, really great butterfly light. And we're going to try that right now. The reason that it's really cool is, again, if you have small ceilings, because it's so thin this way, or it's so thin this way, you could really butt this up higher and get some more height at it and aim it down and get some cool lighting effects out of it. So we're going to do that now with a strip box. I'm not going to use the 1x6. I feel like that's not a good move. Oh, come on. Those RFI speed rings are sticky. Cool. They're fresh. I'm just chucking softbox everywhere. Cool. So very, very fun stuff. And there's a lot of other fun things you can do with strip boxes. They're really, really great for using, like if you're doing some sort of some beadwork and you want to put a light from underneath, or if you want more control than what a reflector gives you, strip boxes are really, really good to come in from underneath. If you go back and watch our Geared Up episode on the 2 easy 3-light headshot setups, we actually did a bonus headshot setup, which was the kind of that Hurley style strip box style setup, and that's a really, really cool way of making like almost like a triangular ring light, but the quality of light is quite beautiful. So here we go. Here. So like I said, the cool thing about this is, I mean, you can see here, I'm definitely going to be where I need to be right now, I think, for a highlight or eyeline level of where I like to shoot this. And look how much more space I have above this. I probably have another 2 feet that I could work with, which is really, really cool. So let's have you come in, Kate.
Awesome sauce. If anybody has any questions before we sign out.
Yep, this is the last thing we're doing. Okay. This is the last thing we're doing before we're piecing out for the day. Also, if any of you are in the Atlanta area tonight, we're having a pro photo. We're having a pro photo night. Like, you can come and hang out with me and another really awesome photographer and a whole bunch of other people. We're going to be playing with tons of lighting gear and having a lot of fun. So very cool. Atlanta, Georgia, tonight.
If you happen to be in Atlanta,
June 11th, or I'm close enough to Atlanta that you can.
There's a whole bunch of posts on IG.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I think if you follow Profoto on Instagram, you can get more information on that. But it's at the Midtown Collective. So.
Midtown Collective.
Yeah. Leslie Andrews be there. It's her spot. So cool. Come in just a little bit closer.
So we're doing like.
Yeah. 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 It's just gonna be like a maybe mid body. Maybe. Perfect. And so, and we're just doing a butterfly light. So I'm gonna get this strip box out of the way. Thanks for hanging with for this little experiment.
Because why not?
Why not?
Let's learn some stuff.
You're learning, I'm learning, we're learning. Cool. So we go. So chin up just a skosh. 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's a really cool light.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
So it does a really, really good job of, jump in there one more time.
Sure.
Don't go super squinty on me.
What are you saying?
Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. You can cheer up a little bit too. You don't have to look miserable.
I was taking pictures of my vase today.
Yeah, well. 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Cool. So now it does. It's actually a really nice butterfly light. You can see right up under the nose. It makes that nice butterfly shadow. It's a really cool. I'm going to probably use this for some more stuff. So,
fun.
Strip boxes. Now you know.
What do you use?
Now you know how to choose
fun.
the right size strip box. Again, just as a quick thing to go over, think about what you like to photograph. Think about
oh my gosh.
running in. Think about running into the strip box. Think about what you're photographing. Think about the size of the stuff that you like to photograph. Are you photographing people, products? How big are those products? How much space do you have to work with? And then use that to decide how the right strip box is going to make things better for you. If you have the space for a 1x6, they're really, really cool. The idea is always to keep the light as close as possible to maximize the softness. And then after that, what's in your budget? What's going to work best for you? at minimum, I'm a big 1x4 user. The 1x3s, I don't do enough stuff. I think the most I might do with a 1x3 is use it as a kicker light for some of my headshots for dudes. But after that, the 1x3, I probably don't use it for a lot of other stuff. All my other things, I generally always go to the 1x4. So with that being said, thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you have any questions, hit us up. We have some more cool stuff coming up, and we'll see you next time on Geared Up. Peace out, everybody.